Finally, I've got the keys to the Mustang Dark Horse. This vehicle is currently the pinnacle Mustang you can buy right now on the market. The Shelbys are gone. This is the first new nameplate for a Ford since like 2005. Now we have the Dark Horse on the block alongside the Mustang GTD. There's a new trend we're seeing. Ford keeps announcing brand new models, new nameplates to create history with. So with that being said, how does it compare against the GT350R I used to own and the previous Shelby Mustangs of the past? Now that Shelby is seemingly gone, we're gonna find out today in this video. I'm very excited because I recently got accepted for the Mustang GTD. The GTD is essentially going to be Ford taking on the exotic cars. Porsche with their GT3 RS, and it's this car taken to a whole new level, but it costs way more money. You know, it's a $300,000 car, and this is gonna be roughly a $70,000 Ford Mustang. You can get it for more money, for less money. It all depends on how you spec it out. What's nice is that they've taken so many components from the Shelbys and put them into this vehicle. Also, they've improved this car in a lot of ways the Shelbys were lacking in the past. Today, let's do a walk around, let's get inside and see how it drives compared to the Shelbys. I would actually equate this very similarly to the mid-engine C8 Corvette Stingray, because this is going to give you roughly the same amount of horsepower. The Stingray has 495 horsepower. This has got 500 horsepower. However, I would say a reason why you should buy this over a Stingray is because you actually have 4 seats. I'm curious how it stacks up on the track compared to a Stingray. Unfortunately, we're not at the track right now, so we can't test that out. From the initial reviews and features I have seen, the fellow journalists out there comparing this very similarly to the GT350 and the GT350R. Today, I'm not driving the handling package equipped Dark Horse. This is going to be more of the spec that you would see being daily driven on the streets every single day. It's got the lesser amount of downforce, so it doesn't have the big gurney flap out back, and the widened wheels and tires, such as the 315s out back that you get with the handling pack Dark Horse and the Trofeo RS tires. This is going to be very streetable with less than 300mm tires. This has got, I think, 275s out back, or 285s. I'll confirm that on the screen right now. I think overall, though, this should be fun because we're on the streets right now. We're not on the track. I want to see how it comes together for street driving when you're trying to pull performance out of the Mustang. This vehicle took about 3 years for the team to develop, and then took a lot of interesting upgrades from the GT500 and other vehicles, such as, let me pop hood and show you. The first comment I was going to make was about the GT500 connecting rods, and that's actually pulled out of the Shelby and in the Dark Horse now. Let me pop the hood. All right, so I gotta be honest, I know many of you are probably gonna be saying, why are you talking about this Mustang in the same sentence as a Stingray? Stingray is a sports car, this is supposed to be the pony car. However, I'm speaking about them in the same sentence because of price point. The C8 Corvette starts at around $70,000, and that's roughly the ballpark you'll find a Dark Horse in. Therefore, they not only have similar price tags, but the horsepower is basically the same too. I love seeing the engine blocks of Mustangs, a 5-liter Coyote. What makes this car unique is that they've tried to find different ways to completely retune the motor to give you the most amount of horsepower yet out of a 5-liter Coyote dedicated for the track. So you actually have brand new dual throttle body intakes, and it's very accentuated by the front end of the vehicle because down below you have a lot of matte black accents all over where the headlights are towards where the front grille is. This is to help accentuate not only the aggressive vibe of the Dark Horse, but with these trapezoids on each corner. These are like nostrils pulling in the dual air channels for those dual throttle body intakes. Since this is the first Mustang with a front-facing horse as the logo, visualize the front end of this Mustang the same way. The face of a horse with the two nostrils right there on either side. So getting a closer look underneath the hood of the Mustang Dark Horse, you can see right here the engine cover has a carbon fiber weave on it. I'm a big fan of that. And then seeing the 5-liter Coyote logo in the middle. This motor is so tried and tested. I mean, the Coyote engine has been here for such a long amount of time. From what I've seen over the years, they've just been so bulletproof, and you can customize them and add a ton of horsepower. I'm a big fan, again, of the dual throttle body intake, and I think with this design, you're probably going to see a lot of cool upgrades on the aftermarket, retail place where you buy different upgrades for Mustangs. Then towards the middle, you do have that strut tower brace we first saw with like the GT350s for the 6th gen Mustang, and it says Mustang Dark Horse right there in the middle in like an indigo dark blue font. The entire idea of this motor was to try to enhance it to improve track performance. They've also tried putting a lot of effort towards the cooling system of this vehicle. So up front, underneath that Mustang badge, there's a new lighter front radiator to improve engine cooling as well. Okay, so closing the hood right now to the Mustang Dark Horse, I just realized something. Back when I had my Shelby GT350, I didn't have those two struts underneath that are hydraulic to hold the hood up. I would have to manually lift it up and then grab that giant stick and mount it right here underneath the hood to make it stay up. But luckily they have fixed that nowadays, so it feels like a more expensive automobile. Anyways, let me drop the hood. This is the scary part where when you drop it, it's just gotta let it do its thing and smack right here above the front radiators. Anyways, this whole entire car, the main purpose of it, I would say, is just to improve the recovery and the endurance of the Ford Mustang while also improving the lap times and driver thrill that you get behind the wheel. So visually, yes, they have to improve that to make it look cool, more cool for a higher price tag, but you can also visually see a lot of these upgrades. For example, down below you have Brembos, which are really, it's a nice upgrade for the Mustang platform, because with a standard, let's say 6-cylinder Ford Mustang or non-performance edition, your brakes and calipers are very small. You want larger rotors because they help with the heat dissipation, allowing you to go longer on the racetrack. And let's face it, this vehicle, it's not the lightest car out there. It weighs 3,975 pounds. So obviously they have to do a lot to try to improve the resistance to brake fade on the track. So that's why you need larger brakes, front and back, to help give you more lap times and also more laps around the track. I do have to say, I would recommend the handling package with the Trofeo RS tires. Yes, they cost over $2,000 to replace, but I think the most important thing for a car when you go into the track is the tire. It's the only thing that's actually physically touching the road at all times. It's kind of like, can you run a marathon in your sneakers? No, you can't. You need to put on some running shoes. I think having the most adaptable pair of shoes for what you're going after is the most important thing. Yet, this is going to be a dark horse meant mainly for the street. That's why it does not have the handling package for our road test here today. For all the good things I can say about track tires, for those of you who don't go to the track and you're leaving Cars and Coffee, you'd much rather have these street-focused tires because they're able to put down the power and grip better. When track tires are cold, they can be a little bit like walking on ice. They are super slick and they struggle to put down the power. That's why I think sometimes you see guys or girls get sideways exiting Cars and Coffee events in their sports cars. Their tires are too focused for the track, for those everyday street conditions. Anyways, though, I want to talk more about the cooling upgrades as well. Like I mentioned earlier, you have a lighter radiator system up front to improve cooling and also lower the curb weight, but you have new engine auxiliary oil coolers, a new rear axle cooler. So they're trying to put coolers all throughout the vehicle to help you improve the cooling system of the vehicle. I remember back when I track tested the Mustang PP2 from the 6th generation Mustang platform. It was around, I think, 2017 or 2016-ish. It's when they made the performance package level 2, and I actually struggled because it would give me a rear axle over temp gauge, and it was on Button Willow Raceway. I'd get about a couple laps in trying to drive it really fast and hard. It handled great with the Cup 2 tires, but it would tell me, okay, you got to cool down now because the rear axle is getting too hot. Thankfully, this has got those upgrades from the Shelbys to help improve that cooling system again. It's really funny seeing the Shelby badge gone now, right? And the GT350 was such a fun car. The GT500 was such a fun car. And then looking down, it's like, we've got a forward-facing horse now, which is, it's an interesting new take for the Mustang lineup. And I'm pretty happy that they're trying new things. It's not always the same models being rehashed every year. They're bringing new names onto the block like Dark Horse and GTD to try to create new heritage. Wow, I'm getting so excited right now, guys, for the Mustang GTD. I mean, seeing this car driving out here, it's getting me pumped because I used to have a ton of different Mustangs over the years. The Shelbys were too much fun to go to the track with. And getting behind the wheel of this new next generation Mustang, they changed so much of it. You know, this body, these taillights, everything is more angular. I would say the hood is more flat. I think they're just trying to make a little bit of an improvement and evolution on each platform that we see in the past. The previous gen Mustang kind of looked European-ish, but this is giving us harsher body lines, I think throwing back more towards Mustang. This Dark Horse rear wing does not have the upgraded gurney flap. Again, that is with the handling package equipped vehicle, which also gives you the wider wheels and tires for the racetrack. I think when I visually look at this car, I'm a big fan of this painted stripe combination. It looks even more well done than the painted stripes I had on my Shelby GT500, which, let me remind you how much of a purchase that was. That was a $10,000 painted stripe. It was crazy to get. And, you know, on the channel, we ended up going for it. It looked really cool. This, though, has so much more surface area of paint for these painted stripes, and when you feel it, you don't feel any bumps or any harsh edges. Therefore, you can easily wrap this in paint protection film, and you won't have any issues, I think. It's really neat seeing just how much they've improved the whole painted stripe package on the Mustang. I'm curious, how will this be with the Mustang GTD coming out? We've been talking about, well, the possibilities of a Heritage Edition. There were Heritage Edition GT350s that came out. There were Heritage Edition Ford GTs. But if we look at the GTD, what is the heritage actually of that car? Will there be a heritage package? Because if we look at it, there was no GTD in the years prior. If anything, they could make upgraded versions that are based off the actual GT3 race cars that are out on the track right now. I would like to see that because some of those builds or liveries look really incredible, right? And we're making the heritage today, right now, instead of living in it with regards to the past. So this new future with Ford and Mustang is looking pretty bright to me. Finally, I do want to end my walk around of the Ford Mustang Dark Horse with showing off that rear diffuser and those quad-tipped exhausts. Yes, this has full active mode functionality for the exhaust pipes itself. You can go from quiet to track mode. Let me just get inside the car and show you what it's like to drive and how it sounds. With the focus though, our spin on this video is with our experience in the past with tracking Mustangs and doing all the crazy stunts we did. I just want to really find out on my own out here how it feels. Do I recommend it? Okay, getting inside the Ford Mustang Dark Horse. This interior is such a massive leap forward from the previous generation Mustang interior. You have this almost carbon fiber looking weave on all the body panels for accents, right? Like around the door latch right here and the lock and unlock buttons. Then you have more leather with some suede finishes with blue stitching everywhere. You have more of the bright blue indigo accents all throughout the stitching of the steering wheel. Let me just go ahead and start it up. This one is the 10-speed automatic, giving us the fastest gear changes available. You can go all the way back into the M to give you manual shifting, but for now let's stay in park. I love this actual parking brake you have. Most cars, it's just an e-brake button that you just tap. It's very anticlimactic. But this, you can pull up and pull your handbrake up and use it as a drift brake. Unfortunately, the Mustang GTD will not have a drift brake like the Mustang Dark Horse. Elsewhere throughout the interior, you do have some paddle shifters that aren't too big. They're not full magnesium and large sized paddle shifters that you would get out of the Ford Raptor R and the GT500 with the dual clutch transmission. Ignore that tire pressure gauge. The sensor is just having a little bit of an issue right now. Elsewhere, I have set the colors for the gauges to be green, but as you guys know, you can fully customize everything within this car. You can turn on the loud exhaust mode right here to the right. Let me do that. I just love the sounds of these 5-liter Coyote motors. And then if we turn on auxiliary gauges, we can see custom gauges that you can configure for your driving style and what you want to see on the right-hand side. So overall, the technology behind the wheel of this Mustang, again, it is such a leap forward for the brand, and I can't wait to see all of this in the new Mustang GTD, and hopefully ours can be built as soon as possible. Going back to the main page, you do have all the track apps, which I love. That's what you're going to be using a lot within this Mustang because it is a track-focused Mustang 5-liter. To the left, you can configure your track apps, which gives you access to your acceleration timer, your brake performance, and your lap timer. Finally, you have your custom drive modes, which you can configure depending on how you like to drive. And finally, yes, you can turn on that Fox body display mode, which looks really nice with all the neon green lights when the sun goes down. I really do like how Ford has gone completely away from putting in as many physical AC or air conditioning control buttons possible. Because when you're behind the wheel, it just lets you focus more so on what matters. Your settings, also your exhaust modes, your traction control systems. Literally down below this front, LED display, you have simply 5 buttons. You have your Mustang pony button, traction control, hazards, your star for your favorite, let's say, exhaust mode, and then you have your front defroster. That's it. If you want to mess around with your climate controls, it's all right here in this display, just like how McLaren does it and a lot of modern brands nowadays. Here we go, driving the Mustang Dark Horse. Right now we're in track mode, which is going to give us the loudest exhaust pitch, opening up those valves and giving us the stiffest suspension calibration for those Magneride dampers, which are actively adjusting 1,000 times. I think it's per second or millisecond. I'll put it over the screen right now. It's incredible how fast this suspension will actively adapt to the road conditions. I love customizing these displays because having the secondary color as purple and the main color as green really gives you a truly unique driving experience. You can go all pink, purple, blue, green. It's really fun customizing all these displays. I wish more brands allowed you to have this type of customization. I definitely prefer the dual clutch, guys. I think the dual clutch in the GTD will be a welcome upgrade for the 7th generation Mustang. It's just because when you have control of the gear changes, when there's slight delays, it does hinder the experience. This doesn't cost the same price as a GTD, of course, but the price tag is getting close to a GT500. And the GT500s had dual clutch transmissions and 760 horsepower. What I've learned is that with this new era of Mustang and all sorts of cars, even going to Corvettes and Stingrays, new cars are just more expensive than they used to be. The Stingray used to be a $59,000 Corvette, then it became a $70,000 Corvette. The Mustang, the GT, they've all gone up in price too. I believe it's still a very fun car, and I really, really enjoy it. I really enjoy driving it, and it's got a ton of performance. These are just me trying to give you, let's say, all the good, and also some critiques here and there. It's just things that you will notice, because not everything is rainbows, right? There's always good, things and bad things about every single car on the market. I would say the transmission could be a bit quicker when you get close to red line and you are, let's say you don't shift at the right fraction of a second before you hit red line, you will feel the car lurch and stop. And that's not a very fun feeling. It doesn't bounce off the limiter. It kind of just kills the throttle and it releases. But that's fine. It's a 10-speed automatic. In automatic mode, it's just beautifully when it's chasing that perfect acceleration. Anyway, so let's downshift and have more fun with the vehicle. I want to see, how is the handling dynamics? It feels so fun being back behind the wheel of a Ford Mustang. I miss my GT350s and GT500s so much. It sounds so throaty. It feels, I would say, similar to the C8 when it comes to acceleration, because the horsepower outputs are so similar, but the Stingray will be a couple 100 pounds lighter than this Ford Mustang Dark Horse. The exhaust, though, I mean, for a stock Ford Mustang that's not even supercharged, wow, definitely not as, like, I would say, stiff as the GT350R that I had was. I don't know at lap times if it's going to be any faster or not. I really don't. I think the 350 felt more track focused, but this just feels so fun and comfortable on the street that you just want to keep driving it absolutely everywhere. You have a lot of torque though, 418 pound-feet of torque. Wow. Braking performance feels really powerful. If I downshift again and try to see how fast that gear change is, well, I get a good idea. So we're in third. I won't really downshift yet. I'm gonna go below 4,000 RPM to downshift again. I think they've limited that with the transmission itself. But anyways, let me just try to see how fast this upshift is. Ready? So it's pretty quick, guys. It's actually pretty quick. I just wish you had more adjustability for the downshifts to let you downshift closer to that red line. Trailing in, so you gotta be very smooth on that trail braking. How does it drive back to back compared to the GT350s? Well, the GT350 had more top end with the power and it was lighter, so I would say the acceleration felt a bit quicker on the GT350, but this just feels so much of more of a solid all-around car with all these displays and the upgraded interior. I would want to drive this every single day to work or elsewhere, simply because of how well the engineering has come together. This is a whole new benchmark for a Ford Mustang, and the cars themselves over the years have been kind of hindered by the curse of not having the best interiors out there. Go back to like 2013 to 2014. Those Mustang interiors were they were not very good compared to the S550 generation interiors. This is another giant leap forward. So I really do like the choices that the team have made when it comes to the materials used and the ergonomics. It feels like it's very driver focused behind the wheel right now, and they're trying to really emphasize the performance nature with the sporty design cues behind the wheel of this Ford Mustang. I would say that the back end feels a bit light. So you will likely get oversteer. Feels like there's more oversteer baked into the vehicle than understeer, which if that's your driving style, the back end is a bit light with the Mustang Dark Horse having the standard skinny street tires. Taking the corners, the front end has a ton of grip. It really does have a ton of grip. The rear end, though, is what feels like it might be getting a bit light. So there's definitely a lot of grip, actually, even without the Trofeo RS tires. The suspension's doing a really good job with maintaining the roll. It definitely has a little bit of body roll, I would say, with the non-handling package addition of the Dark Horse. I would prefer a wider contact patch to really help make the vehicle sit more flat throughout corners, but it's still fun. It reminds me of the days when you'd buy like the Tech Pack GT350. Yeah, it's got the performance you want, but it's more aimed and geared at street driving. I don't think you're gonna have any of the cooling issues you would have with the Tech Pack GT350 from 2015 because, well, it didn't have those coolers. The rear axle cooler this has. See, weight transfer goes backwards. When it hit the brakes, it kind of leans forward onto its feet, which is helping for the turn-in of the vehicle into the corners. Actually, in this video, I want to test if you leave cars in coffee going full throttle, does it get squirrely? We see all these videos online, people make comments at Mustang all the time saying that they're really hard to drive. Let's just see. Dead hooks. So I don't know, people lose control of Mustangs. I don't get it. Finally, when you're done and you want to just go into normal drive mode, the entire car is so adaptable. I love seeing the displays change between normal, sport, and track. It's really nice. So I think just for the technology alone and the visceral experience to get behind the wheel, it's a fun car. And I really enjoy getting back behind the wheel of Mustang. I'm excited about the GTD. I think the team does a really good job when they put their performance engineers together to create a very fast car. There you have it, guys, the new Ford Mustang Dark Horse. I couldn't be more excited right now about the GTD coming out. it's going to be crazy seeing this car taken to an even higher level to go against the exotic cars on the market. Overall, is it like the Shelbys? I would say it feels good seeing Ford come after where the GT350 would be with something new, a new name, a Ford-facing Mustang. It seems like an overall just perfect balance for the street and then also getting towards the track. The GT350 was a very serious car with its manual transmission of the day, and this you can get with an automatic too. So if you don't know how to drive a manual, you could have never gotten behind the wheel of a GT350. Now you have that natural aspirated Mustang with track performance with an automatic too, and tons of brand new displays, gauges, and pieces of technology like lane keep and assist. So this is a Mustang for a new era that everyone can drive and drive fast. I want a Mustang. I want that GTD. I can't wait. So stay tuned for the content coming out with specking out that vehicle and getting ready for the racetrack. Overall, let me know your thoughts on the Mustang Dark Horse. I love the look of it. I love the painted stripes too. It's a really fun car. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button to help me out and subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. And hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the new videos when I drop them. I'll see you in the next video.